Let's talk about the relief that Congress does not understand Americans need, whether it's rent relief, paying off their health care debt because they didn't have health care. Let's play that clip of Rand Paul that we almost played a second ago.
This bill is free money for everyone. Proponents don't care if you're fully employed or own your own house or own your own business. Free money for everyone, they cry. And yet, if free money were the answer, if money really grew on trees, why not give more free money? Why not give it out all the time? Why stop at $600 a person? Why not $1,000? Why not $2,000?
That's a good question.
Right?
Use that in a campaign ad. First off, $2,000. $2,000 it still won't, cut into most of everybody's debt and expenses from the last 9 months. What's so infuriating about this to me is it just reeks of absolute disgust for working people. It reeks of it, and I don't know how that argument works right now.
It's also like just ignorance, like the idea that there's no difference or distinction between 600 and 2,000, like these are just numbers. They don't mean anything. Like a lot of people I know, like a lot of people are like a $2,000 behind on rent, and that $2,000 would make sure that they don't lose their house in the middle of winter time in a pandemic depression, right? So it's just the idea, like they just don't even know what, like Nancy Pelosi also said $600 is a significant amount for working families. They have no understanding or grasp of what money is for most people.
It reminds me of Napoleon. I want to hear what you think on this, because you've spent a lot of time in Europe, where even in austerity-driven countries like Germany or right-wing countries like Poland, they're able to recognize that working people and their economy is more successful when people's basic needs are being addressed. But this reminds me of when George H.W. Bush could not tell you the price of milk. He had no sense of the price of milk. And that, like, some people say that was a big part of him losing his reelection. Napoleon, what's your thought?
That's right. It's like I don't even see. I don't know. Like nowhere in that speech is he tying it to the reality of what people are actually going through. It's like there's a reason why we're discussing these numbers. It's because that's life or death for some people. That's being in a house or in an apartment and being on the street. That's like it's everything. There's people with kids, with children. He doesn't seem to care. For him, it's all about, it's okay when he votes to cut taxes for the ultra rich who doesn't
right.
who he feels don't have to pay their fair share. But when it's to give back to people who actually need that to survive, it's such a vile thing. Like you say, it's total disregard for people who don't have it, but for the average working people, for the average poor people.
There's more to this clip that's, let's just play the rest of it.
Maybe these new free money Republicans should join the Everybody Gets a Guaranteed Income caucus. Why not $20,000 a year for everybody? Why not $30,000? If we can print up money with impunity, why not do it?
Wait, we actually can print up money with impunity. Don't give him a copy of Stephanie Kelton.
Yeah, exactly. Like, these are wonderful questions. If only, he talked to regular people, he would know the answers. It's just,
last time that happened, his neighbor punched him or something. So don't.
That is true, actually. He's probably afraid. He probably just doesn't walk on sidewalks anymore. Just random people. Anyone who's not wearing a suit and tie is probably the enemy in his mind. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
I mean, Napoleon, this is, I feel like we need to do a compilation of these ads and just air them. I mean, this is like, we were talking about this in the majority report, how Nancy Pelosi just doesn't have a messaging strategy. It's right there. They're delivering it to you, on a platter.
Right. Exactly.
Does the messaging strategy need to be in an ice cream container or something for her to look into it? I really don't understand.
No, it has to be in a $12,000 refrigerator.
There you go.
That's exactly what we need. He's saying everything that's wrong with this system and the opposite of what people actually want and need. So it's right there, like you said. Slam dunk.
Slam dunk. I mean, so ultimately, we're going to have $600 whopping to, I don't know, pay our utilities, I guess. I'm not sure how much in some food for families, right? but we need to do more, right? And I think it's one thing to bitch about this stuff. It's another thing to actually put out a course of action. And so I'm just going to throw one last piece out to you guys before we wrap up. My theory of change right now is really through the unification of different unions to pressure the bigger union, AFL-CIO, to pressure our lawmakers who are, well, at least the Democratic lawmakers, have to work with unions. And I think that's really the way we're going to be able to get immediate change. But do you guys have ideas? Because I do feel like it's important that we present different ideas and a strategy moving forward. Napoleon, let's pull some international stuff. You know, other folks around the world are providing more for their citizens. Have you heard anything different?
I mean, like I said, like in Germany, it's like you said, it's more austerity, but they don't have these type. I don't feel like these type of problems. I mean, I talk to people over there, and it's humane. Some people, if you don't have the finances, the state will provide money for you. People have healthcare over there. You don't really see people. I didn't see people on the streets or anything like that. And it's just a totally. Anecdotally, when I talk to people, they see America as, they call it predatory capitalism over there. It's kind of like everybody for themselves. That's the vibe that they have. So just even being on the other side, the perception of what's going on in America is exactly that. And I think that we just got to keep pushing and showing people that it's possible that there's another way, and that we deserve this. This is not free money. We're paying taxes. So it's not free money. That money doesn't come from anywhere. It comes from our pockets. Every time we buy something, every time we pay income taxes, everything else, it's money, but we want to redistribute it back to us and not necessarily all going to military or other things that we don't need.
You mean $500 million going to Israel isn't your priority no?
Wasn't there $3 billion for the Space Force? I think I saw that in there. You just have to have rations of whatever on the moon before you can feed people in your own country. Of course.
I mean, but this is also why, I mean, if neoliberals hate the right wing so much, and if they hate Trump so much, then they've got to do something, because this is how the right wing, this is how the populists on the right wing, or supposed populists, pseudo-populists on the right wing, neoconservatives are able to tap into frustration and anger. Is they see division, they see economic instability, and they put people on YouTube and put people in different spaces, Tucker Carlson, whatever, who preach conspiracy theories. And of course, they point to Nancy Pelosi and her ice cream palace. I mean, that's it. That's how they're able to pray. If they just provided, which we can afford, of course, the most basic needs to Americans, it would eliminate the rise of Trump right-wing fascism. And look to Germany. If you want any case for providing to your citizens so nobody politically capitalizes off of economic division, look to history.
And I think like there's also an opportunity, I believe, to engage with people on the right who need things that are angry for the same reasons as people on the left are angry. We just have to find a way to do that, where they could understand that this is possible. Like whatever Rand Paul is trying to mock, this is actually the solution to a lot of our problems.
Well, there was a poll that came out that said 88% of Americans wanted a $1,200 stimulus check, and we still only got $600. So I find that to be just bizarre. It's just ignorance. They just don't care. They just
free money, Andrea. That's what the Heritage Foundation told him to say. It's free money.
I wish it were free money.
Polls don't matter, clearly. I mean, this stuff, it's not influencing anybody. It's we're past the point where phone calls, polls, frankly, even showing up on the streets, I think, is making a difference. I think it's really going to be withholding your labor and leveraging the labor and your pocketbooks to make a difference.
I absolutely think so, yeah. We're going to need to do some very, very historic demonstrations. Like, I think we need to do like an occupation of Washington, D.C. or something. Mm-hmm. Like something that like we can pinpoint. I apologize if you can hear the dog in the background. It's something we can pinpoint, right? And just show them that we do not accept or tolerate what they are doing. It's just theft. It's rioting and looting, except in corporate form. They are stealing our money, and they're giving it away to the Space Force, an imaginary fairy tale thing that Donald Trump made up that turned into a sitcom that's funnier than the actual like situation because, but my point is it's ridiculous. They create, and what is the Space Force? It's another way for them to take our money and give it to their friends. It's another excuse. It's another column on their invoice, just more money that they can waste. That's all it is.
Yeah, they talk about government waste all the time.
All that, right? It's just ridiculous. It's just absurd.
They're obsessed with government waste and how we're going to pay for it and all these lines. And it so easily can be flipped in this moment when people are paying attention. Napoleon, let's do final thoughts.
Plus, I want to add tax the rich. That there's some people that are gotten, this money is around. We need to tax the rich, tax the corporations so they pay their fair share and everything like that. I just think that we need to stay focused and to stay unified. We all want the same things. And there's a better ways of doing it and there's wrong ways of doing it. And I think it's pretty obvious that, we're making strides. And I think it's these times of crisis is an opportunity for us to get, significant change going forward if we play the game right.
I'm going to end with one thought that it's not either or. I just want to end with this thought. Even if there wasn't a tax the rich campaign, even if the rich couldn't get that passed, there's still enough money to pay for these things if we allocated them to the right places. So we shouldn't be dependent on also taxing the rich. We should just stop funding the Space Force, or frankly, just fund the people. There's no money's left over. There's money. Thanks for watching and listening to The Nomiki Show. But remember to click like and subscribe on YouTube, and please share on social media. If you're not already a patron, please join us for as low as $5 a month on patreon.com/The Nomiki Show for early and special content. That investment makes a huge difference. We are not corporate media raking in the dough. It's really you guys that are keeping us going. So please consider being a patron. And to our current patrons, thank you so much. We are incredibly grateful to you. We also now have swag. So check us out on thenomikishow.com to get your mugs, your totes, and your stickers.